today we're going to do a couple of things. We are going to start by working on the word problems that are in our note sheets. We're also going to work on the word problem worksheet that we found the other day. Remember, you stapled another paper to it. So if you wouldn't mind getting out those two things right now, your note sheets, turning to page 23, and your word problem worksheet 2.6 to 2.8, the typed sheet that we found the other day. So we'll need those two things. We're going to get through those two things, and then we're going to work on a practice test. So here we go. Word problems. Number one, I'm on the note sheets. Page 23, number one. How much 12% needs to be added? Okay, We've done these 100 times. Our general formula is amount times percent plus amount times percent equals amount times percent. So here we go. We have 12% orange juice, so remember we use decimals. We don't use 12, we use 0.12. Needs to be added to 15% orange juice to get 14% orange juice. So my percentages, I have 12 and 15 that I am mixing together to get a 14. I know that I have 5 gallons of this kind. I have no idea how much of this kind I need, so I'm going to call that X. But that means I'm mixing X and 5, so my total will be X plus 5, or 5 plus X if you prefer that. So 0.12X plus, okay, I'm going to multiply here, and I get 0.75. I think I need to keep an eye on my arithmetic. Where my calculator is. Here it is. And then 0.14x plus 0.70 if I multiply 14 times 5. Okay, so let's see what we end up with. Over here, if I move this over at 0.02x, watch it when you subtract. 0.14 minus 0.12 is going to be 0.02 equals 0.05 if I subtract my 70 from my 75. So X is going to be 0.05 divided by 0.02, which is 2.5. I'm going to type that in just to make sure. Don't want to make a mistake on the video. That would be embarrassing. So 2.5, and was that gallons? Yep, 2.5 gallons. There we go. All right, that one's done. Okay, let's turn it over, see what we got on the back. Another one. We have 54%, so we have amount times percent plus amount times percent equals amount times percent. All right, so my percentages, I have 54% acid solution. I have 84% acid solution. And I have 60% as an answer, as final result. I'm mixing 8 cups of this with some 84%. So obviously I'm going to end up with 8 plus X. Whatever I mix together, the two that I mix together add up to give me my final amount. So I have 8 cups of this kind. I don't know how much I have of this kind, but altogether I'll have 8 plus X of the 60% solution. So 0.54 times 8, 4.32 plus 0.84X equals 4.8 plus 0.60X. If I distribute there, that's a distributive situation. So I have 0.48 equal to 0.24x. So lo and behold, when I divide, I get 2 cups. X is 2 cups. 84% solution. All right, now I have number 3, which is a different kind of problem. Number 3 is one of those work problems, and remember we had a general formula for that too. Do you remember what we said that was? We only did a couple of them, but do you remember 1 over alone plus 1 over alone equals 1 over together. So here we go. Danielle can do the homework in 4 hours, so 1 over 4. If Zach helps her, it will take them 3 hours, 1 over 3. How long does it take Zach alone? 1 over x. So Danielle's time alone is 4 hours. Zach's time alone is x. We don't know, but together they can do it in 3 hours. So my common denominator, this is a problem that's full of fractions. I don't want to do the fractions, so I'm going to multiply everything by 12x. Now, why am I multiplying by 12x? Because I want to multiply by something that will get rid of all of the denominators. So my denominators are 4 and x and 3. So if I multiply by 12x, I will be able to cancel out every denominator, and that's my goal. So 4 goes into 12 3 times, so I'm left with 3x. X will cancel the x and leave me with just 12. 3 goes into 12 4 times and leaves me with 4x. Now I have a nice little equation with no more fractions, so if I subtract, I get x equal to 12. So the answer is, it takes Zach, poor Zach, 12 hours to do the problem, or to do the homework on his own. His time alone is 12 hours. All right, number 4, same thing. We have 1 over alone plus 1 over alone equals 1 over together. So here we go. Grant can paint the football field in 8 hours. So 1 over 8. There's Grant. 1 over 8. Matt can do it in 6 hours. 1 over 6. Grant alone is 8. Matt alone is 6. How long will it take them to do it together? So this time, the part we don't know, the number we don't know, is how long it takes them to do it together. So we'll add these guys together. So we'll multiply everything with our common denominator. Now, there are lots of choices here. Your job is to make things cancel. So if you said you were going to use 48, I would be perfectly happy with that. But 24 will also work. So I'm going to multiply everything by 24. You can use whatever number you want as long as it will cancel all the denominators. So 8 will cancel into 24 3 times. 6 will cancel into 24 4 times. And the x's go away and leave me with 24. Now, if you used a different number, like 48x, this is going to look a little bit different, but in the end, your answer is going to work out to be exactly the same as mine, which is 24/7 hours. You may have to reduce yours if you used a different common denominator, a bigger number here, but you will end up with exactly the same answer as I did, 24/7 hours. Okay, now the note sheets are done. So now we're going to go to our word problem worksheet, and we're going to work through these so that you'll have these done. These do need to be turned in. This worksheet needs to be turned in. We're going to work on it together so that you can understand how to do these problems, so we'll be ready for our test. All right, so number 1 is another amount times percent problem. So we're going to do amount times percent plus amount times percent equals amount times percent. So here we go. You've already done a couple of these. You've done lots before. You know what you need to do. We're going to have a 35% solution mixed with a 40% solution to end up with a 36% solution. So there are my percentages. Remember, I put them in as decimals. How much, I'll call it X, must be mixed with 5 pints to end up with 5 plus X? Keep in mind, I think you got a bucket here. You're dumping in X and 5, so that would leave you with X plus 5 or 5 plus X. Okay? So here we go. We're going to have 0.35X plus 2 equal to 1.8 plus 0.36X. I'm doing my distributive here, my distributive property. So I'll subtract and get 0.2 equal to 0.01X. I'm subtracting 1.8 and subtracting 0.35. So now I'll divide, and X equals 20, what was that unit? Pints. So 20 pints. All right, hopefully you're getting the hang of that. That's not too bad. All right, we got another one. Amount times percent. All right, so I have 19%, and I have 30%, and I have 25%. How much 19 must be mixed with a 30% solution to get 18 gallons of a 25% solution? Now this one's tricky. This one's tricky. How much of this has to be mixed with this to end up with 18? Remember, if you're ending up with 18, then this has to be 18 minus X. If you don't know this one, it's these two added together. It's 5 plus X. But if you don't know this one, you got to go backwards, so it's 18 minus X. A little bit tricky. So 0.19X plus 5.4 minus 0.3X equals 4.5. All right, so those added together will be negative 0.11X equal to negative 0.9. My gosh, it's Friday afternoon. I'm a bit tired. Here we go. Let's make sure we got this right. So X equals 0.9 divided by 0.11, which is about 8.18, whatever the unit is. Where am I at? Is this number 2? Yeah. So this is gallons, 8.18 gallons. All right. Okay. All right, number 3, here we go. We got another one, amount times percent, amount times percent. Same thing. This is problem number 3 now. So we got a 55%, we got a 70%, and we got a 66%. Now, where's the number we know? The number we know is 8 of the 70, so it's right here. This is x, so this must be 8 plus x. Remember, if the number you know is back here, this is 18 minus x. But when the number you know is here, it's these two added together, 8 plus x. So here we go. 55x plus 5.6 equals 5.28 plus 0.66x. So 0.11x equals 0.32. So x equals 0.32 over 0.11, which is about 2.9. Got to check our unit always. 2.9 pints. Okay, now remember, as you're going through these problems, if you have a question about one of them, ask your neighbor. Ask your neighbor. Now, 4, 5, and 6 are all different. They're a different kind of problem, but number 7 is just like this one. So I'm going to skip down to number 7, looking at number 7. And you're saying to yourself, Mrs. Ford, number 7 isn't the same. There's no percentages in number 7, and you are right. What there are instead of percentages are prices. So we're going to have an amount and a price. How many pounds of peanuts costing $3 a pound? So instead of percent, this is going to be price. It works the same way. You just don't have a percentage, you have a price instead. So your decimal is a price. How many pounds of peanuts should be mixed with 10 pounds of cashews that cost $7 a pound to get a mixture that's $4.50 a pound? So in the percent areas, they're my prices. So $3, $7, $4.50. Now it says how much of this mixed with 10 of these. So what's going to go on the end? If you said 10 plus x or x plus 10, you are right. You are mixing these two together to get the total. If we had to go backwards, it would be a minus. But since we're adding them up to get the total, it's 10 plus x. So we have 3x plus 70 equals 45 plus 4.5x. I hope I did all that multiplication right. So 1.5x equals 25, and x equals 25 divided by 1.5, about 16.7 pounds. 16.7 pounds. I guess I should use the right abbreviation for pounds. Okay, so it's exactly the same kind of problem. The only difference is instead of percentages, 80% orange juice or something, we have a price. $3, $7, $4.50. Now, the only ones left are these 4, 5, and 6, the work problems. So 1 over alone plus 1 over alone equals 1 over together. And that's how I am going to do problem 4, problem 5, and problem 6. They are all exactly the same kind of problems. 1 over alone plus 1 over alone equals 1 over together. 1 over alone These are problems 4, 5, and 6 on your word problem sheet. All right, so here we go. Number 4, Matt can clean the room in 5 hours. So Matt's time is 5. If Tristan helps, they can get it done in 3 hours. So their time together is 3 hours. How long would it take Tristan alone? Easy. Now we're going to multiply everything by what? What are we going to multiply by that's going to get rid of all of those fractions? If you said 15x, you are right on target. Good work. We're going to multiply by 15x. 5 goes into 15 3 times, 5 goes into 15 3 times, so we have 3x plus 15, because the x's cancel, equal to 5x, because 3 goes into 15 5 times. So 2x equals 15 if I bring my 3 over, and x equals 15 halves hours, or if you prefer, 7.5 hours. So it takes Tristan 7.5 hours to do the job. Dylan can make a cake in 2 hours. DeAndre can bake it in 3 hours. That's DeAndre's time alone. That's Dylan's time alone. How long would it take them to bake a cake together? So 1 over Dylan alone plus 1 over DeAndre alone equals 1 over their time together. So here we go. What do we multiply by? We multiply by 6x. Why am I multiplying by 6x? Because 6 will cancel a 2, 6 will cancel a 3, and 6x will cancel an x. So 5x equals 6, and x equals 6/5. Was it hours again? Yep, hours. So together they can bake the cake in 6/5 hours. One more. Catherine can do the lawn in 6 hours. There's Catherine, 1 over 6. Erica does it in 5. There's Erica, 1 over 5. How long together? Now we're going to multiply through to clear the fraction. So what will clear the fraction? 30x. So we're going to multiply everything by 30x. 6 goes into 30 5 times, so that's going to cancel and leave you with 5x. 5 goes into 36 times, so that's going to cancel and leave you with 6x. And the x's cancel and leave you with 30. So 11x equals 30, and x equals 30/11 hours. So together, it takes them 30/11 hours. Okay, that takes care of the word problem sheet and your note sheet. So now, the next video will be the practice test. Hope you're having a good day.